Hello and welcome to the USA Cares podcast. I'm your host, Matt Castor. I am joined with my good friend, Maeve Armstrong. What's up, Maeve?
Hi, what's going on?
Welcome back. Exciting times at USA Cares.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We got a lot going on. I want to say a big congratulations to our former president and CEO, Mr. Trace Chesser, on his retirement. Excited for him. He's getting a little lazy these days, but
I know.
That's okay.
That's
all right. I guess he's allowed.
Well, and congrats to you, Matt.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But thank you to Trace for everything he's contributed over the years, and we wish him the best. If you are new to the USA Cares podcast, welcome. This is a podcast all about honoring our military community and giving a little bit back to those who have given so much. We try to offer a little hope, a little encouragement. You can check out USA Cares podcast on any of the major podcast platforms and listen to some great past episodes. Maeve, what was your favorite past episode?
I really liked having Lewis on.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was good. Yeah, I think he was. We haven't had many Navy SEALs.
No, it was really cool.
So, yeah, a little intimidating.
And some props. That always helps.
Yeah. We've, the Navy, for so long, the Army was so well represented on this, and now we've have a little naval run here.
Yeah, we're trying.
So we're trying. Yeah. I think that's Gina's influence. But I hope you'll check out some past episodes. USA Cares is a veteran service nonprofit working around the country in all 50 states, helping military families in crisis. So check out usacares.org if you'd like to learn more, or go ahead and make a donation while you're there. So Maeve, we've got an exciting event coming up. Why don't you talk about it? Coming up July 19th in Louisville, Kentucky.
It's our We Salute You Gala. It's at the Galt House. You can come by, have a raffle. There's... What else is there?
Well,
what is the bourbon pool?
It's our big, there's a bourbon pool if you're into bourbon. There's all kinds of things. Oh my goodness. It's a big event. We'll have 600, 700 people there. And it's just kind of that premier event we have every year.
Yeah.
So if you're into going to a black tie event, into honoring veterans, having that military pageantry there, then come check this out. It's a really cool event, and you can find that also on our website, right?
usacares.org.
usacares.org. So, awesome. Well, real quick, before we introduce our guest, I want to thank our sponsors, Roll or Die Informing, McClellan Integrated Services, and, of course, our good friends at Hardee's and Carl's Jr. Now, Hardee's and Carl's Jr. has their Stars for Heroes campaign starting on Memorial Day and running through the 4th of July. And it's real easy. All you do is you go to a participating Hardee's or Carl's Jr. and you buy a little paper star, and they put your name on it, and then you stick it on the wall. And that a portion of those proceeds come to USA Cares and help these families in need. So if you're going to spend money, if you're going to go out to eat, go somewhere that's going to make a difference, and go visit our good friends at Hardee's and Carl's Jr. All right, without further ado, very excited about our guest today. As I said, the Navy is well represented here lately, and today is no exception. So today, we're happy to introduce our very distinguished guest, retired Rear Admiral Gene Price. Welcome, Ms. Price. How are you?
Good to be here, Matt.
It's great to have you.
Appreciate you and Maeve having me on.
Well, it's really an honor. And I've heard nothing but good things from our good friend, mutual friend, Gina. And she said, you really need to have Gene on here and have him share some stories. And so if this goes badly, it's all her fault.
Exactly.
So I hold her responsible. But thank you for being. How long have you been associated with USA Cares now? How long have you kind of known us?
I was first introduced to you all maybe 5 years ago, and I actually came and took the tour, and that's when I became a true believer.
Wonderful.
When I saw the people actually doing the work, answering the phones, helping vets through crises after crisis after crisis, you can't help but be impressed, but watch what they do.
Well, thank you. We've got some remarkable people who answer the calls every day. And, when we've got families at rock bottom moments saying, I don't know where else to turn for help. And so we're blessed to have those people there. So I'm glad you were able to tour and to meet some of those folks.
Yeah, it was an honor to do it.
Great. So you've had a long, distinguished career in the Navy. What was it kind of that initial point that got you interested in serving?
My dad had an uncle in the Navy, World War II. My father wanted to join the Navy. He was blind in one eye, and he applied, I think, 3 times and tried to hide it. memorize the chart and all that stuff. They caught him every time.
I bet.
And he was never allowed to serve. And that haunted my father, who
Wow.
went on to be a Southern Baptist minister, but so he had a very productive life. But it haunted him, and it always made me feel like it was something that was really important to him, and therefore it became important to me.
That's so interesting you say that, because I think there's a generational thing there. I remember my grandfather, his two brothers went and served, but he had some physical limitations that prevented him from serving, and he was always almost embarrassed or ashamed that he couldn't go do that.
And that was my dad.
Yeah. It's pretty honorable to have that ingrained in you. So why Navy?
My uncle was in the Navy.
Yep. So that was what you knew.
That was what I wanted to do.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. And so as you get into your career, what direction? I know you were in intelligence.
Correct.
Yeah.
Information
Talk
warfare.
about that a little bit. What is that, to those who don't know, information warfare? What is that all about?
Well, the Navy started doing the information warfare concept about 15 years ago.
Okay.
Air Force followed suit 5 or 6 years ago. And the other services I think the Army starting this initiative as well. And the way the Navy did it was they brought together the meteorology people, the weather guessers, so to speak.
Right.
The oceanographers, the people that understand the water column, exactly what's going on underneath the surface, because that's where we have submarines, undersea vehicles of all kinds of different sorts. The SEALs, of course, rely upon that environment, plus intelligence, cryptology, information technology, cybersecurity, all those things came together to compose information warfare. And it's very synergistic. The Navy did it first primarily because our then Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Gary Ruffhead, the story goes he was watching, he was in Iraq during the insurrection that was going on there, and I think it was around 2006, 2007, and he sat in on a group of SEALs who were getting ready to do an operation in the middle of the night. They were around a big table. I don't know if you've ever seen something like this, but they were all around this device that was recording everything and giving feedback in real time from the States and from MacDill and CENTCOM. So they had the IT people there, very heavy. They briefed, okay, we got this, we've got this. Here's your communication path. Here's your uplink to the satellites. And they had the cryptology people who were explaining, okay, you're going to have encrypted communications here. You should expect to see that there. Then they had the intelligence people going, okay, here's what it all means. This is what you have to look for. And it went off without a hitch. They hit jackpot on the raid, and everybody got back alive. And as the story goes, he was so impressed by this, he brought it back to his staff and said, make this work for us. And they did. And that was the genesis of the information warfare community.
So how far has that come now? I mean, I've got to think, given the recent technology, it's just gone so much further than it ever was.
Oh, it's gone far beyond a single raid in Iraq.
Yeah.
Now, carrier strike groups have become so, first, there was a test bed done with our carrier strike groups. Whenever the Eisenhower, the Nimitz, the Vincent, pick your aircraft carrier, gets underway on an operation, it takes with it a strike group. All kinds of vessels go along with it, not just oilers, but destroyers, cruisers, submarines, the whole gamut. And they started using this concept of an information warfare commander, just like you have the air boss on a carrier.
Right.
The same thing, only brings all those disciplines together.
Okay.
And it works so well that within a year and a half, Fleet Forces Command mandated it for every single strike group departing the United States. And it's really punched above its weight. And, as usual, some controversy because that's not the way we've always done things and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we all struggle with that.
Right.
But it has certainly proven itself. So, yes, it has come a long way.
Wow.
So what happened before that? Like, what was the standard procedure?
Great question. What happened before that was the strike group commander, who was a 1-star, would take briefs, every day. And especially there'd be very pointed briefs when they're getting ready to do some kind of operation. And he would have, the air boss come in, the surface warfare guy come in. But when it came to what we now call information warfare, he'd have the oceanographer, the meteorologist, the information technologist, the cryptologist, and the intel officer all come separately. And nobody harmonized it. Nobody made sense of, okay, here's what all that means. And now it's simplified and structured the process so well that it's given time back to strike group commanders.
Right.
And it works really, really well.
Unbelievable. So you mobilized several times.
Right. I was active duty and then a reservist.
Okay. So during which did you mobilize the more times when you were in reserves? Were you in and out? Or?
Yeah, you can only mobilize as a reservist.
Okay, got it.
Mobilize and deploy.
See, I used the wrong terminology, Maeve. That's your fault. You're supposed to
I'm
correct
working on
me.
it.
Come on.
We're learning.
Come on.
We're learning.
Well, maybe Gina should have told you.
Well, I do blame her for a lot, so that's probably true.
Yeah, she ought to be on camera here too. I think.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. So tell me about your deployments and your mobilizations. And some of the places you've been, some of the places that you were able to serve.
Did 3 combat area deployments. Did the Balkans with Kosovo, and then later on went back to Macedonia. And that was right after 9/11.
Yeah.
And that was because there was a Muslim group, the National Liberation Army of Muslims in Macedonia, the minority, that was rebelling against the government. And it was quite the story. It's turned out to not be anything at all like I thought. But I was I became the political advisor to NATO's ambassador, which was basically intel function.
Yeah.
And then in 2003, I did that in 98, 99, and then Macedonia in 2002. 2003, I did the invasion of Iraq, Operation Iraqi Freedom. Did that from 5th Fleet in Bahrain, and then went forward to Saudi, Kuwait, and then into Iraq. And that ended July of 2003.
Okay.
And then I would do short-term things, not anything combat related, but then I was sent to Afghanistan in April of 2011, came home May 2012. And then I was on active duty from the time I made Admiral almost until I retired.
Was there one moment in your career that you look back on like, wow, I can't believe we actually did that. I can't believe that actually happened, or I can't believe I was there for this?
The invasion was a lot of that.
I bet.
Yeah, that was an exciting time. And there's one of the occupational hazards of being an intelligence officer is all the coolest stories you can't ever tell. So I
Go
guess,
ahead and just tell one. No.
Come on.
Nobody's listening, right?
right. I'll have to hold fire on the coolest ones, but
Yeah.
just actually being there in the at 5th Fleet headquarters with our admiral, and he was a 3-star, and working through all the things we had to, the workups for the invasion, executing the invasion, and then supporting the Marines on the ground as we were going forward. It was probably 2 months of very, very little sleep.
I bet.
But you didn't really notice until you finally got a chance to take a day or two off. And
No
then you
downtime, right?
Yeah, you slept through it.
That's unbelievable. You know, we're in an interesting period with the military right now, where recruiting numbers are way down, and maybe because we're out of a conflict, maybe for different political reasons, it doesn't seem as popular right now as maybe it once did. Do you think that's starting to change again? Do you think that it's cyclical and maybe it'll come back around?
Well, I was responsible for one of my commands was Navy Information Forces Reserve, SNFR, in Fort Worth, Texas. And while there, that command is responsible for information warfare reserve recruiting.
Okay.
And one of the things that they explained to me, which I made perfect sense once they explained it, is that recruiting often follows the economy. We don't pay as well as commercial establishments.
Right.
And when the economy is really good, recruiting goes down. When the economy starts to tank a little bit, recruiting tends to go up. Now, there's other factors that play into it, but that's the preeminent thing. You know, young people, our target audience coming out of high school or college age, they tend to want to maximize their income like we all do. And that is probably the driving factor. Setting that aside, I really think that with all the concern about the People's Republic of China and the threat it's making to Taiwan, with the 9-dash line around the South China Sea where the PRC, the People's Republic of China, is threatening its neighbors. I mean, everybody: Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Brunei, Philippines, on and on and on. That will gradually take hold. It always has in the past.
Yeah.
So I would anticipate an upswing.
Yeah.
That's going to run into, you know, I'm on the outside looking in now, but I don't know exactly how the cuts that we're seeing right now, the administration is placing on not just most of the civilian departments that usually see cuts, but the Department of Defense. We'll just have to see that play out.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing, and I think it has come and gone over generations when you've gone through conflicts like Vietnam or Korea in different times, and after those conflicts, maybe it's dipped or it's surged, but
or during them,
right? Yeah. So hopefully this will come back around. But you know, part of what I like about doing this podcast is when somebody gets to talk about their military career. In those moments, you know, we talk about you not sleeping for a couple of weeks, but driving and pushing and getting the job done and those types of things. And looking back, I have to think that's a great sense of pride to say, we were there, we did that. And so for people who are looking at a military career, they may have one idea of what it is, but hearing these stories, maybe it's a little bit different than they thought. So.
Yeah. What's the old saying? Man proposes, God disposes.
Yes.
It's never what you think it's going to be.
It's never what you think, yeah.
But at the same time, I really enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
Even the worst times, being far away from home.
Yeah.
You were always with like-minded people who you looked around you and you could think, you can make a lot of money outside the military, but here they were.
Yeah.
No, they were doing work for the United States, and some of them never came back.
Yeah.
My first month in Afghanistan, 3 people that I worked with, you know, not all at the same time, were killed in action.
Wow.
And it was a rough time. So
it's a sobering moment.
Yes, and that's not a good time. But at the same time, it points out, you know, the critical nature of why we have a military and the enormous burden that we put on young people, who are the ones who are in harm's way to do that job. And that's one of the things that makes me very proud to be an American, not just a member of the military, but an American.
Yeah. Would you say it's when you lose somebody that you served with, is that a motivator? Does that make you fight harder? Does that make you go harder to honor them, or is it how? I mean, I guess everybody reacts a little bit differently.
When you're there, when somebody dies while you're there, you're busy. There's no real funeral. You'll have a memorial service, and what they do, and I'm sure Lewis has done this too many times, pull everybody together, sometimes impromptu, sometimes organized, line everybody up, and the man or woman's rifle, bayonet, stuck in the ground, their helmet on top of it. And it'll always, somebody will talk about them at a personal level. And then the Star Spangled Banner will play, and then you go back to work. And you don't really think about it too much. I mean, you miss the folks that you're working with, but you don't really have time to reflect on the consequences, the threats, how it goes. But it really hits you when you get home.
I'm sure.
When I got home from Afghanistan, we had so many people not come back that my wife knows this. I guess I couldn't hear the Star Spangled Banner without tearing up, and I could not. At first, I was like, "What's wrong with me?" I thought something's really wrong. Yeah. And then and I'd try to act like I was fine. And eventually, what I did was, whenever I was in my car, I'd do that iconic Whitney Houston Super Bowl broadcast where she sang the Star Spangled Banner. Yeah, I listened to that ad infinitum until it didn't bother me anymore.
Exposure therapy.
Yeah, I desensitized myself. So
yeah. Would a psychologist agree with that or disagree with that? I don't know. Who knows? But
no, I'm not.
Dave, play psychologist for a moment.
I was going to ask you, so each place that you went to was very unique and different. What was the hardest and I guess the best part of each place that you got to go to?
Oh, gosh. And you're talking about the 3 deployments? Mm-hmm. With the deployment to Kosovo, I was aboard ship. I was on the USS LaSalle, and we were out doing, support stuff in the Adriatic and in the Mediterranean. And when I went back to Macedonia, also in the Balkans, I worked primarily with NATO, and those folks never really had a strong appreciation for NATO. It was people make jokes or whatever, still do, because we do most of the combat stuff.
Right.
And, there's a certain pride and a little bit of hubris that goes with that. Mm-hmm. And what I found out is some of our allies, and I'll call out the Norwegians, the Swedes, the Brits, the Aussies, the Kiwis, the New Zealanders. Mm-hmm. Who am I leaving out? I'm leaving out some other good ones. The Italians, Spanish, the French. You don't want to mess with them. They have very, very good forces. Yeah. They're much smaller than ours, but what they have, they use very effectively.
Very well organized and very well trained.
Yeah. So that's what I really took from there, and that was very, very good. From Iraq, one of the things I took away, we went into Basra, which is the big city in the south, right after the Marines and the Brits, who was it? The Black Watch, and the Marines had cleared out Basra of most of the bad guys. So we went in there just to find out what was going on, and we were in this convoy. And, they'd gotten some of the stoplights and intersections working again by the time we got there. And every time we would stop at a stoplight, these women in their burqas, in the traditional Sunni dress or Shia dress, would come over, because we had open doors, and start talking in Arabic and hold up pictures of people. And I had no idea what they were talking about.
Right.
And the interpreter, after this happened the first time, told us that evening what they were saying, and this is a U.S. person who's actually a Los Angeles, California school teacher who had been mobilized, found himself sitting translating. Wow. And he said that these were primarily mothers and sisters and wives who were trying to find their men who had been kidnapped or abducted by Saddam Hussein's forces and just disappeared. Yeah. And they were hoping that we knew something. And of course,
that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I take away from Iraq. And Afghanistan, I still remember vividly of flying into a very, very small village in Faryab, which is the province all the way to the north and the far western side of Afghanistan next to Iran. And we flew in, and we had to land about a mile away from this place because it was the terrain, and we trudged in. And as soon as we topped this little hill, and there was this village of primarily mud huts, and it's, in the foothills of the Himalayas and desert, these little kids just came running toward us, and they were adorable.
Yeah.
And they were just happy and chattering, and we, they were speaking Tajik. They were speaking Tajik, and we had no idea what they were saying. But they were living in mud huts, no running water. They were dependent upon whatever their fathers could hunt or grow, and whatever they could get from passersby, and they were just as happy as they could be. And they had nothing, absolutely nothing.
But it was all they knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just shows you the resilience of kids.
Yeah.
And I can still see these little kids in my mind's eye if I just close my eyes. And it just was really touching.
So after that, through that career, and with the different places you served, especially the people, I'm sure the people you served with are probably some of the fondest memories, I would guess. Who was there? Somebody that really poured into you? Is there somebody that really motivated you? Maybe gave you a hard time that made you better through that career. But is there somebody that really sticks out?
I would say Lieutenant Kylan Jones Huffman.
Okay.
A little bit of the story there, but Kylan would work for him. He was a subordinate, and he was a surface warfare officer on active duty, academy guy. Got off active duty, went back to get his PhD from George Washington in D.C., stayed with the reserve, switched over to Intel. And he worked for me while we were at 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain during the workups and then the invasion of Iraq. And I had him at my side all the time. He was probably one of the best and maybe the best intelligence officer I've ever served with of any grade. He was incredible. And he was able to identify issues from discrete patches of information. He actually was very, very important in stopping the visit of some U.S. vessels, U.S. Navy ships, to a port in the Pacific, Bali.
Okay.
And that was in the fall of 2002. And because he didn't like what he was seeing, and he convinced NCIS, for whom he was doing work at the time, to not let U.S. Navy ships stop there, which was very, very, very unpopular with all the sailors and Marines.
Yeah.
But then the Bali bombings happened.
Oh, my goodness.
About a month after that, and 200 people were killed by these terrorists. And he saw that, and he brought those same skills to work for us. And he really sticks out in my mind because he was killed in action on August 24th, 2003. And still keep up with his dad.
Yeah.
He was a gray guy, lives out in Colorado, and still mourns his son. But, he will always live large in my mind.
I'm sure. Wow. Well, and it's great to talk about him. It's great to tell those stories. And, and people, as long as we talk about them, they stay in our memory, right? So that's incredible. Is he in Arlington?
Actually, he's at the Naval Academy.
Is he? Okay. Yeah.
That's where he was only 29,
Wow.
I think, when he passed.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he was he's buried there in the mausoleum they have. If you've been to the Naval Academy,
Not. Yeah.
you got to go, dude.
I'd love to.
Pretty.
I'd love to.
It is really, really pretty.
We'll make a trip there sometime.
Yeah.
For sure.
Next time you're in Annapolis, you got to go.
Got to go.
And take the tour. But if you look across when you go to the main campus, there is this inlet. It's on the Severn River. Across the inlet is the mausoleum, and he's there.
Unbelievable. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing a little bit about who you are and what you do. Talk for a minute, if you would, to some of the people who might be listening. As your career has evolved and changed into a civilian career, what has that experience been like for maybe some people who are listening who are maybe getting ready to go through a transition like that? What was that transition like for you, and maybe what's some advice you would have for some of those people?
Every person who comes off active duty, reserve duty, comes with a different set of baggage.
Mm-hmm.
And your experiences will be completely unique to you. Where you went, what you did, who you saw, maybe the folks that you knew that you got close to that didn't come back, that's all going to come together to make you you. So, the so what to that is no one is going to be able to predict exactly how you're going to react to it. I got to the point, I was in for, as an admiral, I was 8 years, and I was talked to about taking yet another job when I left. And I had already told my wife I was going to retire when I got this offer, stay on and do this. And she said, I love you. I'll do whatever you want, but I'm going home. And so I said, Gina knows my wife.
Yeah.
I said, okay, roger that. I think that's
appreciate. I think my wife has said that to me a time or two. I'm like, I think I want to go here and do this job, and she's like, well, you do whatever you want, but I'm going home. Yeah.
Always listen to your wife.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, very wise advice. So I listened to her, and when I did, I think her wisdom of how much, she asked me, how much is enough?
Yeah.
And I couldn't answer that question. And I thought, she's right, it's time. And so for me, it was, for a variety of unique reasons to me, it was time.
Yeah.
Some people get medically retired.
Right.
Some people get passed over for promotion and they end up retiring. Some people have injuries and they end up retiring prematurely. Some people stay on as long as they can, not realizing that they should have gone before. And no, like I said, no one's alike the next. The main thing I would recommend to people is ignore anyone, trust your feelings and ignore anybody that tells you, oh, you shouldn't feel that way, because your feelings are there for a reason.
Yeah.
They're going to guide you. It's what you do with those feelings that matter. I don't care what sex you are, what you did in the military, how tall you are, how smart you are, what race you are, what your orientation is. It doesn't matter. Your attitude is going to be what makes you successful with the rest of your life. And if you can just mount guard over your heart, keep your mind focused, let the feelings come, deal with them as they come. If you need help, call it in. Never be, ever be afraid to call it in. And you'll manage it, and on that score, I'm not going to call out the particular general. There's a 3-star general that I work for, Marine, in Iraq, indirectly work for. And when he got back to the States in the mid-2005, 2006 timeframe, he was getting reports of all these Marines that were having problems at home. They've been through a lot of bad combat. And there's a lot of tension, and it was coming out at home or in the workplace or in bars. And he learned that these are unremitted pressures. People are bringing home the anxieties of combat, and they don't know how to de-stress. And his instruction was, well, get him in to see the mental health guys. And guess what these Marines wouldn't do?
Yeah.
Do as recommended. So what this guy did was he instructed his staff, this is true, carve out an hour on his schedule once a month where he would go and sit at Bethesda, Walter Reed National Medical Center. He sat in the mental health clinic with his 4 stars on.
Love it.
let everybody just see him. He'd read a book, get catch up on whatever. At the end of the hour, he'd go up to the desk, say thank you, and leave. Because he didn't felt, he wasn't having that problem.
Yeah.
But he wanted to be there. So everyone would say, did you see the 4-star in the mental health clinic?
Right.
And the word is it helped.
I hope
So, if he was willing to be seen in the mental health clinic, Gene Price could be seen in the mental health clinic.
Well, hopefully that's something that is changing. And I think it is. I think it's becoming more normal and less of a, I can't have anybody see me doing that.
I think for the efforts of that man and others, it is losing its stigma. And if you have a clearance, it's like SEALs have clearances. You're going to get tagged if you go see the mental health counselor. We've even been able to work through that.
Good.
So there's no real reason anymore for avoiding getting the help you need.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, and
Thank you for sharing
much.
some stories
Yes.
and your career and for supporting USA Cares and doing all you do.
Thank you all for what you all do.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was absolutely amazed at what you all do the first time I was here. I'd heard about it. I was like, good for them. There's lots of others that do that. I don't think anybody does it as comprehensively or with as much care as USA Cares.
I appreciate that.
I'm very much an advocate.
Well, thank
Means
you.
a lot.
Thank you. We've got some, like I said before, we're blessed with some very talented people and very loving people who work with these families every day. So thank you for that. But thank you for being here.
Matt.
We appreciate it. I hope
you,
you'll come
Matt.
back again sometime.
Yes.
Sure.
And
if Gina lets me back, I'd be glad to.
well, yeah, that's the tough one. You got to sell her.
I got your email. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll find you.
Yeah, Babe will take over. But thank you, sir, very, very
Thank
much.
you.
And like I said if you are new to the USA Cares podcast, check it out on other platforms, Spotify, I think Apple Podcasts, some others.
YouTube.
You can find us all over the place and listen to some past episodes, some great ones in there. So, but also learn more about USA Cares. Learn how you can get involved wherever you are. Give a little time, give a little money, but do something, right? Time to get off the couch.
That's
Time
right.
to do something.
Yeah.
So get involved today. But thank you for being with us, and we look forward to being with you again next time.
See ya.